Nigerian medical student Abigail Theophilus gets emotional when she looks at the selfies she took with her classmates at Ukraine's Sumy State University last year, the day before Russia invaded.
That morning, I went to get an x-ray done and I went into town. Everywhere was empty. People were lining up to get food. And at first, the threat of war was like, it was a regular thing in Eastern Europe to hear about war, but this was serious. So I went out. People had left. Everywhere was scanty.
Ukraine says there were about 76,000 foreign students studying in the country, more than 4,000 of them Nigerians, when Russia attacked. Egyptians and Moroccans were among the largest groups from Africa, which accounted for about a quarter of the total foreign students, who mostly fled on their own. About 1,800 Nigerians were evacuated weeks into the war. Theophilus said they took a bus and later a train to reach Lviv and escape the fighting.
In Sumy State, it was difficult for anybody to leave. So the day I realized I needed to leave was when I think it was during the evening time. There was a missile that was sent to one of their powerhouse, and I saw it pass. And I've never seen a missile before, and I saw it pass. The explosion happened, and it was night. Everywhere looked as bright as day, and it dawned on me that this was actually war.
Safely back in Nigeria, their studies were put on hold until October last year, when a deal between Ukrainian and Nigerian universities let students continue pursuing their degrees. Nigerian University is one of the Nigerian schools enrolling students who left Ukraine. But the interruption in studies was a big setback, says Kofowurala Adewale, who enrolled months ago.
I wouldn't say that it's a great experience to have this big change in my life, but I'm just grateful that I did start university. In spite of the fact that the Nigerian university and the Nigerian system itself took me like 2 years back. I'm supposed to graduate like next year, but unfortunately now I'm supposed to graduate in like 3.5 years time, which is like a big change for me.
Nigerian University did not respond to requests for comment on the program. Nigerian students are used to education disruptions from periodic teacher strikes that can sometimes last for months. And not all foreign students chose to flee Ukraine despite the ongoing fighting. Nigerian medical student Elijah Kamani stayed in Vinnytsia, a town in west-central Ukraine, southwest of Kyiv, that has not yet been hit by the war.
As the summer arrived, a lot of tourists and other people began to come back. I don't know, but the city was it was vibrant, it had life in it. So I didn't see the need to leave at that point also. So I stayed during the summer and I enjoyed it as normal people would. Even though there were threats up and down, we had air alarms and we had to go to bunkers.
Both the foreign students who remained in Ukraine and those that fled can only hope that the war ends as soon as possible. Timothy Obiezu for VOANews, Abuja, Nigeria.